Playing imps, we have made our way to 5 clubs against silent opponents, and West leads the Jack of clubs. On this board, the important decision is going to come at trick 12, so unlike previous real-world examples I have shown, I am not going to ask you to plan the whole thing out. However, I will ask you to take stock of the play at trick 7. We win the opening lead, but when we cash a second club, East shows out. So West has a natural trump trick. And since we're also going to lose the ace of spades, we need to win everything else. We pull one more round of trump, and East discards another diamond. There are only 5 more diamonds out there, so perhaps Dummy's 10 can be developed into a trick by roughing the 3rd round of the suit. But West roughs our king, so diamonds are not going to set up. West switches to a spade, and East goes up with the ace. East then switches back to diamonds. You don't need to come up with a complete plan, but pause the video here and take stock of the play. And now that you have finished considering and have unpaused the video again, we'll continue. Including the current trick, there are 7 tricks remaining, and we have 6 winners, 3 trump, 2 spades, and a heart. What possibilities do we have for a 7th trick? If spades split evenly, Dummy's last spade will be good. That will happen about a third of the time. If East has the king of hearts, we could finesse them with the queen. That will work about half the time. Could there be a squeeze? We have satisfied condition L, so let's look for threat cards. The 10 of diamonds is a threat, guarded only by East. The queen of hearts is a threat, guarded by whichever opponent has the king. And if spades don't split evenly, Dummy's last spade is a threat, guarded by whoever has long spades. We have threats in 3 suits, so there are options for which squeeze to consider. A squeeze in spades and diamonds won't work. Only East can be busy guarding the diamonds, and neither threat is upper of them. A squeeze in hearts and diamonds isn't very useful. Only East can be busy guarding diamonds, but if they have the heart guard as well, we can just take the finesse. A squeeze in hearts and spades could work against either opponent, because the heart guard is upper of East, and the spade guard is upper of West. The squeeze card will be a trump in our hand, and we've got an entry to the other hand in spades. And since the spade threat is in the hand with that spade entry, we don't need to deal with the UE exception. So all of blue is satisfied as long as some opponent is busy. What are the chances of that? We'd need the opponent with long spades to also have the king of hearts. But on the principle of vacant places, whoever has the long suit is less likely than their partner to have any other specific card. So the chances of a successful squeeze are less than 50%. If we had to choose between taking the finesse or playing for the squeeze, we should take the finesse. We can combine some of our chances by trying to run the spades and taking the heart finesse if they don't split. That will work about 2/3 of the time. Could we also combine the chances of a squeeze with this? Riffing on the exception to the UE exception, we've got an entry back to our hand in one of the threat suits, hearts, and the heart threat is in that same hand. This means we could, in effect, transfer the squeeze card to Dummy if we wanted, by playing the squeeze card and then a spade to Dummy, and using the heart as the entry in blue. This lets us defer our decision until later. We can run the trump in our hand and then cash the top spades, ending in Dummy. If the spades split, we can claim. If they don't split, we can then decide whether to finesse in hearts or play for the squeeze by running hearts from the top. This is at least as good as our previous plan. At worst, we'll just do the previous plan anyway. When we run the trump, no interesting cards appear. though East discards their diamond guard after we discard our threat. The spades don't split, and West has the spade guard. There are now 2 tricks left, and we know both opponents' remaining shape. West has the top spade and a single heart, while East has 2 hearts. So, should we take the finesse or play for the drop? All else being equal, East is twice as likely as West to have the king. Furthermore, many players are reluctant to unprotect the offside king. So, against non-expert opponents, I think East would be much more than twice as likely to have the king, whereas against experts, East is still only about twice as likely. We should take the finesse. There are no guarantees here. If the finesse fails, we'll be down 2 tricks, whereas if we play for the drop and it fails, we'd only be down 1. And there are situations where that's an important distinction. If we were playing in only 4 clubs, especially at imps, I would play for the drop to ensure my contract. But here in 5 clubs, I'll take the finesse. On this particular deal, it would fail. West has played sneakily and unprotected their offside king. Oh well, I can't begrudge good defense. What I've hidden from you is that this is not actually what happened at the table. What really happened was that, back when I was running the clubs, West discarded a spade, and then the spades ran, so I claimed. I never had to make that decision at trick 12. Backing up to the start of this trick and looking from West's perspective, if we go for the squeeze, we've got them dead to rights, and any discard is as good as any other. If we don't go for the squeeze, for example because the last spade is held by East and we don't have transportation to the dummy, West needs to hold on to the protected king of hearts to get the setting trick. It takes a very good defender to smoothly unprotect the hearts. We have really combined all our chances together. If the spades split evenly, we'll make the contract. If the spades don't split evenly, but the defender with long spades feels squeezed and decides to discard one, we'll make the contract. And finally, if the spades don't split evenly, and the player with long spades holds on to them, but the heart finesse is on, we'll still make the contract. The only time we don't make it is when the player with long spades holds on to them and the heart finesse is off. If you were West, how would you have defended? Feel free to let me know in the comments.